This compares all the matter in our solar system. Gather every planet, every moon, and every asteroid into one pile, and they account for barely 0.2% of the total mass. The Sun holds the other 99.8%. Earth and its neighbors are effectively microscopic debris, the scattered remains of the materials that formed our star. 4.6 billion years ago, this machine began as a solar nebula, a massive cloud of interstellar gas and dust that collapsed inward under its own weight. Because the Sun claimed nearly all the available matter during that collapse, everything humanity has ever known was built from the tiny fraction of gas and dust that didn't make it into the center. As gravity crushed the nebula's center, the core reached a density 150 times that of water, and temperatures spiked to 27 million degrees Fahrenheit. This diagram shows the process of nuclear fusion. Under that level of pressure, hydrogen atoms are physically smashed together to form helium, a reaction that releases a concentrated burst of energy. The Sun converts 4 billion kilograms of matter into energy every second, producing 384 yottawatts of power. That ignition created a mechanical engine that governs the physical laws of our entire corner of the universe. With all that explosive energy pushing out, why doesn't the Sun blow itself apart? And with all that mass pulling in, why doesn't gravity crush it into a single point? The Sun exists in hydrostatic equilibrium. The inward crushing force of gravity is perfectly balanced by the outward explosive pressure of nuclear fusion. It is a state of constant stability that holds the Sun in a near-perfect sphere. The star we see in our sky is a multi-billion-year-old stalemate in an unending physical war. Because these forces are locked in a draw, the Sun is currently in a state of extended stability. This phase is known as the main sequence. It is the long adulthood of a star, defined by the steady conversion of hydrogen into helium. To maintain this balance, the core fuses 600 billion kilograms of hydrogen every second. At this rate, the Sun has already converted roughly 100 times the mass of the Earth into energy. Our existence relies entirely on this pause in stellar evolution, a period made possible by a finite supply of fuel. The stalemate cannot last forever because the fuel supply is limited. In approximately 5 billion years, the Sun will exhaust the hydrogen in its core. Without hydrogen to power the outward pressure, gravity wins the war. This diagram shows the core collapsing as the inward force crushes the center. This compression drives temperatures and pressures so high that the Sun begins a desperate secondary phase, fusing heavier helium to maintain its structure. This shift in fuel destroys the multi-billion-year equilibrium, signaling the end for the solar system. Fusing helium produces a massive surge of outward thermal energy that overpowers gravity, forcing the Sun's outer layers to expand. The Sun swells into a red giant. It grows to over 250 times its current size, becoming 1,000 times more luminous. This expansion will physically consume the orbits of Mercury and Venus, incinerating them as the Sun's outer atmosphere moves outward. Eventually, Earth will be engulfed by the Sun's lower chromosphere, reducing the planet to a blackened cinder. The mechanical laws that allowed our world to form are the same laws that dictate its eventual destruction. The bloated outer layers of the red giant will eventually drift away, forming a planetary nebula that disperses into the void over about 10,000 years. Once those layers are gone, only the core remains, a dense mass held together by the final victory of gravity. This is a white dwarf. It is the Sun's final naked core, roughly the size of Earth, but retaining over half the Sun's original mass. Without fuel for fusion, it will spend trillions of years sitting in the dark, losing its remaining heat until it fades into a black remnant. The life of a star is a one-way mechanical countdown, a billion-year war where gravity always wins in the end.